just going to interview you here on your birthday for a moment, Fern, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay.
So you just made the comment that you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for these incredible products. And, Hippocrates said it best some 2,500 years ago, let food be thy medicine. Simply the most important food you can use is Immunocal and our other great products, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you share with everybody where some 20 some odd years ago when you packed your husband off to Montreal to find out about this Immunocal product?
Well, I had been in bed for weeks, and I was unraveling. You can, if you've been through the kinds of physical sorts of things that I had been through in my lifetime, when your body's giving up, and I'd reached that stage. And he handed me these papers. It was terrible stuff. It had been faxed and refaxed and all this stuff, and he didn't have time to be bothered reading it. There was, you get so much stuff. And he gave it to me, and I said, if this stuff is what it says it is, then I have to try it. And on that, he and Lori, Lori, went down to Montreal, and they met all the doctors and all that wonderful stuff, and came back with it with Immunocal, which he fed me, woke me up in the middle of the night, about 3 o'clock in the morning, and gave me my first dose. And by the weekend, having been in bed for weeks, by the weekend I was up and attending a conference that I was supposed to go to.
Well, now that is astounding, and you're very in tune to your body because you're a nurse.
Yeah.
You've been a nurse, and so you've dealt with some major challenges over the years, and I think it's fair to say that some 20 years ago you pretty well reached the end of the road of things that were open to you that you thought were going to make your life better.
Oh yeah, we'd done just about everything we could find at that point, and I was just that was it.
So we often talk about on these calls being younger next year. So let me ask you: are you younger today than you were 20 years ago?
In every possible way.
Well, Fern, we really want to say happy birthday to you, and thank you for sharing that information with us, and thank you once again for sharing your husband with us on these Wednesday nights. Both of you are such a blessing to all of the family here at Immunotech.
Well, thank you very, very much. That is so neat. It's been a very special day, and this makes it extra special. And I'm going to give you back to Barry.
All right, so happy birthday.
So I am now here.
You are. Well, then we're going to go ahead and move everybody out. So, Dr. White, it is quite a blessing that 20 years later, Immunocal that has been to all the families and all the people that are here at Immunotech, for whether they've been here for a day or a week, or they've been here for a year or 5 years, or they've been here for 20 or 22 or 23, whatever we are. This product is a blessing to people's lives, a blessing in people's lives if they use the product.
And we've seen so many people near the grave, and with Immunocal come back. It was the food their bodies needed in order to get well again. So it's the body that is missing the essential things that Immunocal provides, and we do see some marvelous results.
Well, and that is the fact of taking our responsibility for our own health. And that is the point, is taking that responsibility, and that responsibility starts with understanding that there are options out there. I think too often that people are just blinded to the fact that there can be something that as powerful as Immunocal, as powerful as Immunocal Platinum, as powerful as what we have here, both health-wise and financially here with Immunotech, Dr. White.
The fact that it brings results. Time and time again, I'm talking to people and tell them about the medical patents that are on the Immunocal product, and that they're astounded. that why isn't it that the world doesn't know? And I said, probably because we haven't told them yet. But that's extraordinary, yes, with such credentials that the world does not yet know, which means, of course, plenty of opportunity for business in that, because if 99% of North America hasn't heard about it yet, that means we got plenty of customers to work with.
Absolutely. We got people that need to hear about it. And, to that point, somebody says, if Immunocal is this wonderful, how come we haven't heard about it? That's a very good question. Why don't you ask your doctor, because he should have told you. And, when you think about it, all the buzz in medicine today is immunotherapy, and it's immunotherapy for everything, okay? And, I mean, it literally is, in the last 6 or 8 months, it has really become the buzzword for all the stuff that's out there. But if you go back to 1992, before Immunotech ever started, there was a patent issued by the United States government for Immunocal for the treatment and prevention of cancer as an immunotherapy. Now that predates all of this stuff, that's all the buzz, if you will. So it took a while for that buzz on just how important immunotherapy is, Dr. White.
And of course, we're experiencing the value of that. I keep coming across new products, and they keep talking about this is the product to end all products because it helps the immune system keep you healthy. Well, back 23 years ago when this came on the market, ours was the first one to say that, and of course, people said, what's that? And now, of course, they're saying, well, that's what? Yeah.
Well, and to the point of just how important this is, I'm just looking at an article here that was written by Michael Snyder, and he's quoting out of some articles here. Americans last year in the U.S. alone had to borrow $88 billion to pay their medical bills. $88 billion was borrowed by Americans to pay for health care that wasn't covered by their insurance. $88 billion. So somebody says, well, Immunocal is expensive to use. Well, I think you could probably go to most of those people because, I mean, the number I saw, it's well over 50% of all personal bankruptcies is due to medical bills, medical debt, Dr. White. So it's just so important to get started on this product and get started on it early, right?
Right. The earlier you start, probably the less major influence are going to be your future medical bills. So a few pennies and dollars spent now with Immunocal and the booster, that's a good combination, may save you thousands, even 100,000s later on if you don't do it. It's like insurance. You die intestate without any way to bury you, or you have enough insurance to bury you in style. Except we don't bury anybody; we just give them life in style.
Exactly. Well, I wanted to touch on a couple things, and sometimes the obvious is in front of us. We've been talking about younger next year. We just had your darling bride on, been using Immunocal for over 20 years, and younger today than she was 20 years ago. With that, and we're talking about quality of life is what we're talking about. That, but once in a while you just see things in front of you, and they're so obvious you ignore it. And as some of you may or may not know on the calls, you once in a while hear a couple of cats in my office in the background. Okay, and those cats are what we refer to as cats in need, if you will. They're ones that are not healthy, that we've taken in to see if we can give them better quality of life. We talk about the cats. We've got a couple of them that are close to 20 years old, but there's a younger one here. And what was interesting is I do believe that she has the feline leukemia, okay, and I think that's going to be a challenge coming forward with that, and we'll find out going forward. But one of the things that I wanted, and why I bring that up, is it's interesting because I've seen this in the past, okay, and once a cat gets, or a person, I don't care if you're a cat or a person or a dog or whatever, as long as we're not trying to give Immunocal to fish, I think this pretty much applies, is that when the cat is healthy or a person is healthy, it's very easy for them to take the Immunocal. as it was with this cat, this little kitten. As I just started to notice the symptoms, what I thought the symptoms were, and I started to giving her about a third to a half of pack of Immunical and a little bit of milk, and she was very, very willing to take it. Okay, and actually got demanding of it every day to get that. But so she's got the benefit from it. I mean, it's been an amazing thing that I've seen here in the past, 6 or 8 weeks. There's no more symptoms of that, which we won't go into that. But the point that I wanted to bring up, Dr. White, and get your thoughts on it, is when somebody is healthy, and they're listening to this call and saying, why do I need to take Immunical? And we say, well, if you're under the age of 50 or 55, one package of Platinum a day, and you take it and you'll feel better, give you better quality of life, and, take the selfie so you can tell the difference in your skin. But it's very, very easy to take that. It's very easy to take one package of Platinum a day. If you're 55 or 60 years old, I'm going to really suggest you take 2. Still something that's very, very easy to do. But if somebody's got a health challenge, Dr. White, and they're coming to the call tonight, and they're looking at that health concern, and wanting to see if this will really be a benefit. We talk often about 4 packs a day or 5 or 6 packs a day, and so they're already not feeling well, and now all of a sudden we're trying to introduce this entire regimen in there that's going to cause, going to help them to detoxify, going to affect some of those things, and it just makes it more challenging to consume that 4 to 6 packages a day. And I think that's very reflective as I look at the little kitten that's healthy, and a half a packet of Immunical, not a problem. I put it in a bowl and it licks it right up and it's gone. But when I've done this in the past, when I saw the cat and they may come in a little bit later and they're not well, it's very difficult to get them to eat it, get them to take it. But I think that kind of applies to us as well, Dr. White.
And part of it too is our detoxifying sometimes makes us not feel as good as we would like it to be, but that'll quickly pass. Particularly if we're taking the 4 to 6, 4, 5, 6, the detoxification process happens quickly within maybe 72 hours, and then we're back to on the curve, getting better. So it's a matter of getting through the first short while, and then getting the pattern going, and letting your body now drink in, using your milk analogy, drink in the benefits of having the Immunical or the Platinum or the combination, so that it can start to be healthy in every cell. And that maybe we need to accent that. This is a product that every single cell of our body, except your hair, but every single cell of your body just drinks in. Your brain, your eyes, your heart, your muscles, your liver, everything. They just drink in as fast as they can. The most needy get the biggest amount, but they drink it in as fast as they can, and we're not sometimes aware of how thirsty those cells were for the Immunical. But after a period of time, we start to perk up, feel better, and say, oh, I guess my cells were thirsty.
Well, and I'm going to open the lines up here in just a minute, so if everybody will get their thoughts prepared, and if you're in a place that's noisy, please go ahead and make sure your phone is muted before we come there. But, you made a powerful statement right there about you start to use Immunical, and the parts of the body that need it are the ones that get it first. Sometimes those parts that need it worse are asymptomatic, so there's no showing symptoms. So I'm starting on Immunical because I've got an ache or a pain, or I'm aware of something going on, and I start to take Immunical, and I'm taking Immunical, and I'm going, well, it's really not helping me in this particular what I'm expecting. That may be that there was things going on that was asymptomatic that was more important, right, Dr. White?
That's right. The body chooses. The body is. We think we have a pretty good handle on how we feel and so on, but the body understands it down to the very last cell. In trillions of cells, it knows the deficiencies, and it supplies to the greatest need. It may be your liver, the greatest need, and you may not have any liver pain at all. Or it may be your eyes, and then you might see the difference right away. So it might be your brain, and you might be just thinking a little bit sharper in a few days. So it's hard to tell. But there are priorities in the body. The priorities are liver first, think eyes second, brain third, muscles fourth, and the muscles that are most important for you is heart. That's the biggest muscle of concern. And we want to get that one, but the body says it's fourth because keeping you alive at this very second is the body's priority. Then when that's taken care of, then keeping you alive for the next hour is the next priority, or keeping you alive for the next week or the next month as we go along. So that's where the priorities lie. The body chooses what is most important to keep you alive this very second. And if you happen to have flu symptoms or things right now, it'll tackle that first. It will really go after that just to make this second more worthwhile for your living.
Yeah, to that point, the flu, the type A is really, really still going on out there. So, all right, we're going to open up the lines here. I want to thank Dr. White. Happy birthday once again to his darling bride, Fern. So once again, as we open the lines up here, the products from Immunotech Research do not cure anything, but as Hippocrates said some 2,500 years ago, let food be thy medicine, and the most important foods you can use is Immunocal and Immunocal Platinum, as well as our other great products. The lines are unmuted. We got a lot of people on the call tonight, so the lines are open. Who has thoughts, comments, or questions this evening? Don't be bashful. We got a lot of people on here, but they're being bashful on us, Dr. White. So I guess they're all in good shape. They all took their Immunocal. They're using the Extra Sharp and their Cogniva, and some of them even got them on the go, and they made some ice cream, I guess.
Keith, good night. Hyacinth here.
Yes.
For someone who has been taking 2 platinum daily and they got hit with this virus that's going around, the coughing, and they're taking 2 and they're saying, well, okay, after 2 weeks, it seems like the coughing is gone, and then it seems like it's coming back, and it's up and down and up and down. So how much do you suggest to be taken, or what else do you suggest to take other than the vitamins and the 2 platinum?
I can tell you what Keith Hooper does. Okay, because if I start to feel something come on, I take 2 platinums every morning. Okay, every morning, they're without an exception. Okay, but if I start to feel something come on, I take 2 more Immunocal in the evening, and I may have to do that for 2 or 3 or 4 days. Okay, even though I'm taking 2 platinums every single morning. Okay, because in case, I know in Canada you guys don't get stress like we do here in the United States.
Thank you, Keith.
There's no stress up there. So if you're under stress, it causes your body to use up glutathione. If you have things going on that are doing that. So I look at the 2 a day as the 2 platinums a day are simply enough to keep me topped off. If I'm under stress, if I get exposed to the flu virus, or I get, something else going on, that may not be enough to keep it topped off, and I have to take a couple more. So I would recommend that if they're still having that issue, take a couple more. Regular Immunocal in the evening, okay. And that's why we have extra. Cassandra and I both take Immunocal Platinum. That's our go-to product is Immunocal Platinum. But we've got Immunocal here for us, just as that backup. And I give the cats regular Immunocal, right? But that's what I would do. Your thoughts, Dr. White?
Yeah, boost if something is continuing to bug you, like the flu or those kind of symptoms, double up for a while. Just to try to, the only people that have those kind of symptoms and don't double up are those that like pain and suffering for a longer time. But if you're not one of those, you want to get rid of it in a hurry, double up.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
thank you.
Again, you're probably only looking at taking it like that. Well, once again, what I notice with it, Hyacinth, is because you're there, you got that little funniness behind your eyes or whatever, and you got the little thing in your throat and whatever. You think something is sneaking up on me, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's when I take 2 more Immunocal, and I may have to. So I may take 2 platinum tonight, or this morning 2 Immunocal tonight. Get up tomorrow, take 2 more platinum. Tomorrow afternoon I may take 2 more. But I usually don't have to do that for more than 2 or 3 days.
Okay, great, thanks.
And then I'm back to the 2 a day. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
All right, very good. Who else has thoughts, comments, or questions?
Hi, I do. Hi, this is Doug. I'm calling. I'd like to ask Dr. White a question.
Certainly.
I have an elderly gentleman that just lost an eye because a blood vessel broke in his eye, and they also found a blockage in his neck, and the doctors are scared to do anything because it might go to the brain. So he's not on any of our projects at all. So, and I've talked to him. He's pretty hesitant because he doesn't know too much about us. But what information can you give me that I can relay back to him?
Yeah, the Immunocal would definitely help. If he's got a blockage in one of the arteries going to the brain, right?
Yes.
There's two on each side. They cross over. But if one of them's down, that means you've got one left. The Immunocal will, over time, and we expect this to take place in about a year, kind of thing. It will gradually remove the plaque or dissolve it over time. That's important because if it did it in a hurry, it might cause that breakage, which would give you a stroke. So it's very important. Very important that it happens slowly, and which is what the Immunocal does for that. So, in my way of thinking, it's critical that he get going with at least two Immunocal or platinum. For a short term, he could take the 4 and speed it up a little bit. But it's really important. If he's got one block, then the others are likely to be not in good shape.
Yeah, probably not. Okay.
And the point is that they can look at it, there's, once again, if you go back and look at the CPS in Canada and the PDR here in the U.S., there's no contraindications as to who should not take Immunocal in that point. It's only people that are on certain anti-rejection rejection drugs, and then a very small, there's a certain disease that is there, but it's a very small number of people. So once again, if that was an issue, it would be at a contraindication, okay, that would be listed in the PDR, the here in the U.S., the Canadian Compendium Consortium in Canada, or in the Pharmacist Red Book. And so there are no contraindications for that. So that's why it's safe to take. As long as he can drink, they always say, who can take Immunocal? If you can drink lactose-free, fat-free milk, you can use Immunocal without a doubt. Okay. And that's kind of what you look at with that.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Well, thank you for that.
Thank you for the question. That's what this call is for. And once again, everyone, the products from Immunotech do not cure anything, but food is powerful. Food is powerful. So, all right. Who else has thoughts, comments, or questions tonight?
Yeah, Bob here.
Ladies first, Bob. Ladies first. Got a young lady there, I heard.
I was going to ask about Extra Sharp. Next week I'm having a minor surgery, and I'm told that I shouldn't take like aspirin and ibuprofen, any kind of blood thinner. I'm wondering if there's anything in Extra Sharp that would be considered as a blood thinner, that I shouldn't maybe take it.
No.
No?
The only one that might be the omega-3s. They have a slight blood thinner capability, so probably good to drop off the omega-3s for a while. But the Extra Sharp, no, there's no thinners in that one.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Thanks.
And I'd add one more extra package of Immunocal, regardless of what you're taking now. One more Immunocal or one more platinum until that surgery.
Okay.
You heal faster.
You want to tell them, I don't need that wheelchair. I'll dance out of here.
They always want to give me pain medication, and I usually refuse it. So.
Yeah. Well, one of the things about the ibuprofen, Tylenol, all of those, one of the things that's interesting, what's not interesting, is quite stunning. That lowers your glutathione levels. So if somebody is taking Immunocal and then they're still using ibuprofen or Tylenol, okay, they need to be aware that it's it's not helping them. Okay, they're not getting the full benefit. Oftentimes on the calls we have people asking about, well, should I take it with food? Should I take it on an empty stomach? Whatever. Well, there's a minor difference with that, okay, of to what the benefit factor. But if you are taking ibuprofen or Tylenol, both of those lower your glutathione levels. Okay. Now, what's interesting is you can use the omega-3s that we have, and they're as effective as ibuprofen for pain relief, and they won't lower your glutathione levels. So just something to think about as you're doing that. So thank you for bringing that up this evening. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Bob, you had a question?
Yes, the question is, do you know anything about what causes lack of oxygen getting into the cells? Now, this is Barbara, 81, and been in the hospital, determined, first thought it was pneumonia, it wasn't. They thought it was other problems with the lungs, determined that, but she does have a slight cluster at the bottom of the lungs. She's on oxygen now, and the doctors don't seem to figure out what causes the lungs, the cells to not get oxygen. She's not on Immunocal, but any idea what the cause might be?
Immunocal will be helpful, but one thing the Extra Sharp does is increase the blood flow to in all the cells and capillaries. Sometimes, though, that the capillaries are already blocked, and the oxygen doesn't get there because the blood doesn't get there. So that can also be a factor, too. But those two things, Extra Sharp and Immunocal, Immunocal is really important about. We've had, just to give you an example, we had a person who was, their oxygen level was, I think, 91, 92. This is not a good number. And with 2 packages of Immunocal, not that they shouldn't take more, but that within a matter of 2 weeks, they're back up to 97, which is where you need to be, like 97, 98. So we know the Immunocal works in terms of helping to get the oxygen level up for a variety of reasons.
Like she'll start out like at 84, 85 in the morning, and then it'll go up to maybe 92 or 93. So she's still,
it needs to go higher.
Maybe the Extra Sharp would be somewhat helpful. I could probably get it there.
Extra Sharp is helpful, but so is Immunocal.
Yeah, I know, but for some reason that blind spot. So anyway, okay.
The Extra Sharp, you can use it as a tea. Okay, if somebody, if you want to do that, you can make it as an herbal tea. Mix it in hot water and have somebody take it as an herbal tea. That's a great way for people to use it that are you're wanting to ease that in there. You're not wanting just to take a half or 3/4 of an ounce and take it instantaneously into the system. So you can take it and make it into a hot tea because it won't hurt it. Okay, it's hot, so you can make it into tea, and a large cup of tea, or if they're making regular herbal tea, you can add it to that, and that way it comes in over. It eases it into the system. But that's another way to get people to take it.
Yeah, good. Okay, thank you.
All right. Other thoughts, comments, questions tonight?
Hi, my name is Lynn.
Yes, Lynn.
And I've been on Immunocal for almost 20 years now. I recently I went through a bout of cancer, and I was on chemo for 6 months, and I want to give a testimony really quick that during the 6 months that I was on chemo, I did not experience one bit of sickness. Not one day was I sick during all that time. And I was on 4 packs, and I was doing 1 pack, and then I went to 2, and then finally when I found out I had ovarian cancer, and it was found early, it was stage 2, that's what I was diagnosed as, and I am almost 5 years now recovered. And I want to give a shout out to Immunocal because I believe that people would ask me when we were all taking our chemo, why are you feeling so good and why do you look so good? And it's like I would give my testimony for hoping that they would listen. But the reason why I called today is that I was just recently diagnosed with I'm a little nervous here. I had my bone density done. And she said that I'm at I don't understand the numbers too well, but at 62. And at a 64, I have a chance, if it gets any higher, I would have a chance of having a broken hip and within 10 years. Now, I've been taking Immunocal Platinum. I'm doing 2 a day on those, and I've been also doing the Immunical calcium and many other things too. And I'm just wondering, they want me to go on some medication that you take once a week, and it can make you sick, they said, but it'll help keep your bone density from getting any worse. What should I do? And what am I not doing?
I'd
Well, Lynn,
increase the Immunical for a while.
Thank you for being here on the call this evening. And where have you been? Okay, you're here with the Immunotech family. So we're glad to have you here with us and giving us your participation this evening. So, Dr. White, your thoughts on the bone density?
Yeah, I'd increase the Immunical to double for a period of time, probably maybe up to 3 months, and that should help. We've had people do marvelous things on bone density just on Immunical, but sometimes if you add the platinum as well, that's sometimes more beneficial, but helps faster.
And
I'm
bone
on
density,
plan.
bone density is really important to get it up.
And
See, the
Lynn,
chemotherapy.
how much calcium are you taking?
2 tablets, that would be 1,000 milligrams, wouldn't it? Two tablets.
Okay.
I'd double that.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things with the calcium, I would take 2. So if you're taking the calcium in the morning, take 2 calcium in the evening. One of the additional benefits of calcium is it helps you sleep. You know, we've got the PNT 200 that helps with that. We've got the cherry concentrate that helps with that. But one of the things also with the calcium is calcium helps people get a better night's sleep. So you know you might want to add 2 more calciums in the evening.
So a total of 4 then. I
Yeah,
am
take
taking
2.
vitamin D. I am taking vitamin D drops, D-emulsion. And but anyway, so that's basically, I take more than that, but of everything. But that's basic. That's my religion. I mean, Immunical.
So did they recommend you do any exercise
Yes, and to exercise more than I do now.
with weight?
Yes.
Right.
They said
Weight bearing exercise.
weight-bearing exercise, using weights as I walk.
Yeah.
That's what I walk. Okay. All right.
Wonderful.
And
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Lynn, for being here, and
Thank you.
and do join us. I mean, have we spoken before on the call?
No, never have. I was going to give my testimony a long time ago, but I was kind of scared. And Ellen Carson said, "Get online and listen." And so I.
Well, you're here with the Immunotech family. You're here. We're all family on here, and that's we appreciate this because that's a point of hearing this. How important it is to take, because we talk about that. If somebody's going to go through chemotherapy, they need to be on Immunical so they're not as sick. They don't get sick. They don't lose their hair. They don't have all the issues that go along with that, and it's just so powerful to say, why do you need to take Immunical if for no other reason but that, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you'd have been proud of Immunical and me, because I stood out among the women. I called it my chemo club. We all sat together, and some of those women didn't know color in their face. They were just. But I tried through the whole thing, and my husband said, "I can't wait till you're done with this chemo because you're worse than." I'm more energetic than I was. Extremely energetic. I would say I'm going to go out and feel today. So thank you so much for answering my question. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for being with us. That's what this call is. Once again, it's a call for distributors, by distributors, to be able to share information this evening. All right. Who else has
Should some
comments
people
or
not
questions?
take calcium?
What's that,
Yes.
Bob?
Should some people not take calcium for some reason?
I'm sure there's
No.
probably somebody somewhere that would have a reason not to take calcium. I don't know what it is, but
Okay.
If you're
Doctors,
going to take calcium, you want to take Immunotex calcium. And if you want to know why, it's a very simple thing. Go to the store, buy some calcium from anybody else, and then and come home, take that calcium, put it in a glass with some tepid water. Okay, it'll dissolve. Take our calcium, put it in a glass. It'll dissolve. Stir them up, and then let them set. And when you come back in about 20 or 30 minutes, that other calcium is all precipitated out, and it's in the bottom of the glass, and it's like sand. Okay, ours is still in suspension, meaning that the body can actually absorb it. And I reference this to the point that if you're taking something other than Immunotex Pure Milk Calcium, your body cannot absorb it. And when they come to the point of saying, well, you're going to take that calcium, it's going to go into the stomach, all this acid is going to do all this wonderful stuff and break that calcium down, the question I have for you is the last time you ate whole kernel corn, what did you notice tomorrow? And so if your body cannot break the corn down, okay, what do you think the chances are of breaking that oyster shell down?
Yeah.
And in your gut? Slim and none. And that's why you want to use our calcium. So it's very demonstratable on the calcium product. All right. Who else has stock comments or questions this evening?
Hi, Keith. How are you? This is Tony from New York.
Hi there.
Great. Well, I have a couple of questions for you, but I also have a testimonial. I just had knee surgery. I had a left knee replacement because being that I'm in the fitness industry with martial arts and all that, I beat my legs up. But anyway, it was successfully done 12 days ago. And when the in-home nurse came to my house, she was quite amazed that I had absolutely no black and blues on my thigh. Because I said, why is that? She says, well, mostly every patient I go to, they're absolutely, their thigh is full of black and blues. It looks purple. And I didn't have not one black and blue except for a little spot on my thigh where they gave me that block to numb my leg to do the surgery. And she says, "What? I don't understand." So I mentioned it to her, and she said, I need to have that information. And she took the information down, so I'd like to do a follow-up with her because she says she has 2 autistic kids. I said, I have something that could help. And she was very interested. She said, I just can't get over the fact that you have absolutely no black and blues. That's number one. Number two, they put me on aspirin because to keep my blood thin so I don't have any blood clots. And it's 325 milligrams morning and the afternoon, and they also gave me Panadol, so it coats my stomach. Not a happy camper about it, but I'm trying to be diligent and listen to the doctor. And they gave me oxycodone, which I took very, very rarely. I just had to endure the pain, but I had to take it to do therapy. So they switched it yesterday from that to Tylenol. And what you just said about the Tylenol, I just take it just before therapy, or if I have to go to bed. So now, is it affecting, should I increase my Immunical because I'm taking the Tylenol and aspirin at this moment? Only for 2 more weeks.
Well, the aspirin doesn't have an issue, but with the Tylenol, just add another Immunical, Tony.
Yeah,
Just
I
add
would.
one more to offset it. I think is a good thing. Your thoughts, Dr. White?
Yeah, that'd be good idea. The Tylenol steals your glutathione, so you need to do some way to replace. So that's what you're balancing off at.
Okay, all I take is a multiple and a vitamin C at the moment. I held off on my vitamins, but could I start taking my calcium?
I would.
Yeah, take the calcium, yeah.
Fine.
Okay, now, I have
The
another question.
Yeah.
I have a grandson. He is going to be 2 years old in May. I've been giving him Immunical half a pack. He's 24 pounds. And for some reason, he gets a cold all the time. And I've been giving him the Immunical. Now, the doctor said some babies just get sick a lot as a baby, and as they get older, they build their immune. But my daughter, she knows more than Grandpa, of course. I know nothing. And she goes, I want to stop the Immunical because why is he taking it and he's still getting sick? So I said, it's not hurting his, it's going to help his immune system. But why is he getting sick all the time? So I just thought maybe I'd run that by you.
He could be getting sicker if he didn't take it. So
That's what I said, yeah.
Yeah. It's a
What
good
do you think,
insurance
Dr. White, going to
policy.
a full pack?
You know, he takes a half a pack of a regular.
But what do you think about going to a full pack a day? At
That's
24 pounds?
okay, by the way.
That would be
It is.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
He's about 27 pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 1 pack a day would be fine.
Yeah. Children, we talk about 40 pounds to one package, but children need 3 times that amount in actual fact of protein. So it's within the range, and so one package would not be a problem. It might get to your conclusions faster.
Right, right. Do we have anything with echinacea, liquid echinacea?
We don't have anything to do with
Okay,
that.
Right.
Echinacea is pretty much a commodity that you can get almost everywhere. So.
Right.
It's
Right.
an herb.
Right.
But
Well, I thank you so much.
Tony, I would just recommend going to 1 packet a day of regular immunocal.
Excellent.
Just up it.
Excellent. And you just said something today was quite profound with the calcium. My sister called and she says she doesn't believe in any of those vitamins and stuff of that nature because she had a blood test done and they were quite concerned about her blood in her cells was all fogged up and clogged up, and the doctor told her to stop taking everything, and then it became clear. But what you just said, that's why it's very important that you share these things with us. What you just said about the testing of the calcium when you put it into a glass of water as opposed to a regular store-bought calcium, I'm assuming that that's what they saw in her body because ours stays to the surface and absorbs. And what they were seeing was all those things sitting in her cells. And when she stopped it, it was clear. So, of course, she was pretty, she's not too much for calcium. She gets it all from the food and don't take vitamins. So, but I'm glad that you brought that up. So I appreciate that.
All right. Well, thanks, Tony. Congratulations on the healing, and we'll look forward to further updates.
Great. Right. Thank you so much, and I'll take 1 pack for my grandson.
There you go. All right. Who else has thoughts, comments, or questions this evening?
Hi, Keith. It's Rita.
Yes, Rita.
How are you?
I'm
Great.
good.
That's good. My new grandson is 2 months old now, and he's almost 12 pounds. With the Immunocal, we've been giving him some in his formula, and my daughter is breastfeeding also. Just wondering if we should be putting the quarter of a package in the supplement in the or just in water and giving him in the bottle.
As long as it's in the bottle, it's okay. By the way, is your daughter on Immunocal?
Yes.
Is she taking 2 packages?
I think she's just with 1 right now, but maybe she should be on 2.
If she's on 2, the baby will get some Immunocal via her source, and that's one of the very best sources. So yeah, get her to 2, and so the baby will get the Immunocal benefit, all the precursors in the mother's milk.
Okay. Should she be on platinum or regular? She's 36 years old.
I'd say regular right now.
Okay, yeah, that's what she's on.
While she's breastfeeding, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Rita. Thanks for being with us.
Okay.
All right. Who else has thought, comments, or questions tonight?
Harvey here.
Yes, Harvey. Where you been? You haven't reported in lately.
I know. Anyway, just ran into old schoolmate Saturday night or so, and he was telling me about his sister, who's about 77, is on kidney dialysis. I know we've talked about that in the past on here. What is you would go with the regular, not the platinum, right? Or wrong?
With kidney dialysis, Dr. White?
I don't think it makes a difference. The question is always on kidney dialysis, is the amount of protein in the diet. And so the doctor usually gives you a target, like 60 grams of protein per day. So you have to regulate the protein part from all sources so that it doesn't exceed that amount, that 60, right. It's usually around 60. So if you're taking extra Immunocal, or it doesn't matter, the platinum, you have to take into account the amount of protein that you're giving them in those packages. But they're not to exceed that amount the doctor gives you.
And there's 9 grams of protein in a packet of Immunocal. So.
And 12.5 in platinum.
And I think we've had some testimonials from people that have said they've really been helped with that, too, as I recall.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. We've had, in fact, Tim Weber, kidney problems, and he thinks He was down to 50% of kidney function. I was with him a couple of weeks ago. He has to go in for blood tests. Going to come back, and he thinks he knows he's much better. So because he's gone from 50% back to about 65 or 70, but he thinks now he's probably somewhere better than 85% of normal kidney function. And so, and that's with them doing. They haven't done anything. The doctors are just amazed at how well because he hasn't done anything other than the Immunocal.
Yeah.
How old would he be?
Tim, early 50s.
Okay.
You know, so.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, very good. All right, anyone else real quick before we wrap this up?
Yes, I have Patricia here. I have a question about cerebral palsy. Can cerebral palsy be helped?
The answer is yes. Not that the cerebral palsy will disappear, but the symptoms may improve.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the that was MS, the guy in Florida, right? The gentleman that was blind. That was MS. That wasn't cerebral palsy, right? Do you know who I'm talking about, Dr. White?
Yeah. There's a whole variety of things about cerebral palsy, but one of them is the brain function, right? And so the brain function improves. That's called the starvation of the cells for the glutathione question. So the whole thing is it improves the amount of glutathione sitting in the cells, particularly the brain cells. That's why we've seen improvements. Not that it goes away, but we've seen people go from what I call mid-disability to close to minor disability. So we have seen function of improvement.
Back to the point, if you have everything to gain and nothing to lose, why wouldn't you give it a try?
Yeah.
And that's
you can't lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Keith, one quick thing. May I?
Yeah.
Okay. I've talked to, in the last year or so, at least 5 or 6 nurses and a couple of doctors years ago, and they do not even know what the word glutathione means. They never heard of it. They've never heard of it. Now, was that an intended thing not to teach them that in medical school?
No.
It depends on their age.
No,
What's that?
It's just the fact that there's so much information out there. Not everybody can keep up with everything. So
But I
that's
think
our
it's being
job.
so
That's why
bad.
we use the doctor flyer and say, look, the Nobel Prize winner in medicine knew about gluten in 2000. The doctor that won the Nobel Prize in medicine in 2008, Dr. Luc Montagnier, the head of Pasteur Institute, knew about glutathione in 1993. Why didn't you?
Yeah, but now is it possible because the medical schools realize the importance of glutathione, the pharmaceuticals are not interested in promoting it in the past?
No, that isn't the issue. It's just information overload. That's why we want to share this information with everybody.
Okay.
All right, thank you everybody for being here. Dr. White, tell her you West White Fern again. Once again, happy birthday from all of us here with the Immunotech
Happy
family.
birthday, Dr.
Talking to all of you again next week. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Dr. White.
And change the phone
Thank
number.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.